So before we even start the review, I want to get one thing straight. These are the new Buccaneer unis coming out for the 2020 regular season. I think it was nice to go back to the original look. For God's sake, I know damn well there wasn't anything wrong with it. Probably just a Nike update and just more resolution on the fucking colors. For God's sakes, looks good though, especially the alternates. Even though they look like they need to be a bit more touched on, but I know Madden will fuck it up, and I know the sales will go high because they have Tom Brady now. But that's not what I'm here to talk about. I'm here to talk about, of course, the April 16th rendition of Raw after a two-night event. Shocked we couldn't even get a 1 week break, but you know how WWE is. The show must continue, even though we have a global pandemic and everything canceling every sporting event, except probably the MLB, because those guys don't last until October, so practically they can have a shorter, extended season. Things it's not over imploding, controversial, corruptive way of the sporting world. It's actual a global problem this time. So probably they'll be just shorten up to 80 something games and get the World Series still continuing for the 2020 season, while the NHL and the XFL and the NBA are kind of scuffed. They had probably just renditions of recaps of the majority of Monday Night Raw. Other than that, there was one of, I'm going to be honest here, the best episode over the quarantine episodes of Monday Night Raw that were just recaps, squash matches, overdosed, condensed, dumb rematches for no reason, like Rey Mysterio and Andrade faced off in a non-title match for no reason, just for Rey Mysterio to suffer an injury and then suffer the effects over the sickness, and then Andrade would not even compete at WrestleMania in a Raw Tag Team title match, while he's U.S. Champion again, suffering another injury after suffering a suspension because of the wellness policy, and now here he is now, not showing up, and Austin Theory taking up his position. And now it looks like Zelina Vega now is a freelance manager, now other than just strictly being with Andrade after having Angel Garza show up that one night on Raw. Now he's just particularly part of the main roster. Other than we don't know how established Angel Garza is, we just know he's a Hispanic luchador that can do nearly as good stuff as Andrade. There's not much into his character other than just a playboy luchador. That's a basic character type that you could have done with anybody. Other than that, what did we have to open up Monday Night Raw? We had a one-on-one match against Liv Morgan and Asuka, and it lasted for at least 8 minutes until Asuka ended it off the counter off the Asuka lock. There was a fair amount of moves, especially trying to counteract the Asuka lock, but somehow Asuka didn't know how to do a body scissors, even though she dealt with wrestlers even quickly. Now Liv Morgan is shown to be a more competitive one-on-one wrestler now after being part of the Riot Squad where you jobbed out to Natalya that you beat on the kickoff show of WrestleMania. I don't know, they transitioned it to be somewhat a different change of pace. Now, Kairi Sane yet doesn't show up again because one time I heard at least the excuse of that she was getting married, but it's now been WrestleMania, 24 hours. This is taped. Why the hell didn't she show up? Just in Asuka's corner. Asuka lock, head scissors. I think no, there was no Michinoku driver. I just wanted to pull up some other moves. All I know was Liv Morgan kicked out of a certain array of moves, even some roundhouse kicks. But the highlight of the show was somehow Liv Morgan still lost. And obviously she lost. She's a bona fide jobber in the women's division. Next up would be somehow the Street Profits against Angel Garza and Austin Theory. A rematch for the tag team titles that ended off a DQ finish. Out of nowhere, after Zelina Vega and Bianca Belair started fighting and intervening in most of the match, there was a top cone hello. Thank God he got caught this time. A tope, a shoulder tackle off both Austin Theory. I think primarily Austin Theory. The match was going okay as it was when Montez Ford and Austin Theory were in the ring. Then Bianca Belair, that was assisting with against Zelina Vega, was interfering. It just started off with both of them fighting in the ring. It just ended up in a DQ. And then we got Zelina Vega and Bianca Belair. So technically it's a debut match. Just an on-site debut match for some apparent reason, all because Zelina Vega was just geared up to wrestle while just managing. Beating the hell out of Montez Ford, and then Bianca Belair just says she's the finest, she's the fastest, the strongest. It's like gimmicky crap that won't catch over. It's the same corny thing. At least Adam Cole, it's basic, and nearly everybody shouted it. People were shouting it on the numbers of their lung because Adam Cole looks charismatic. He looks like $1,000,000. As undersized as regular guys go, he's still a decent wrestler, alright performer. He looks profitable. Unlike Bianca Belair, that's her own gimmick as she holds her hair whenever she does a wrestling move, and then she barely uses that as a majority into the matchups. Then she's strong. You saw it was going well. There was a head scissors. There was one time there's a some kind of, it wasn't a tarantula, it was some kind of crucifix submission out the ropes. And everything was going fine. There was a close near fall from Bianca Belair, and then somehow, when Montez Ford and Austin Fury off a move from Bianca Belair was about to finish up the match, Austin Fury intervened, and then Montez Ford was fighting Austin Fury. Then they fought in the ring, and somehow they counted that as a DQ. For some apparent reason. Either way, I'm still confused in how in the hell that worked. As to a DQ finish. So, you had 2 matches in a row go in on the spot be DQ. Just to have a random, I think it was a 6 women and men tag. That ended up with, of course, the Street Profits going in. I'm not going to go to the Aztecs because that's 3 matches in one, involving the 6 sets of people. That's terrible indecisiveness, on the spot inconsistency to actually make somebody look strong. If you wanted to at least make a DQ finish and schedule later Bianca Belair against Lita Vega later in the afternoon, because later in the afternoon they would just recap an off-the-air WrestleMania match for no reason. The Big Show hasn't shown up in 2 months, and then you're telling me he now has a match against Drew McIntyre after he had a match with Brock Lesnar. And I don't know where the hell he turned heel from out of nowhere. Yet again, there has to be a count to how many times he turned heel. I swear somebody made a video on it. I bet thousands of people made videos on it. But we had him literally come out of nowhere, drag a ref into the match, and then have a random match over slapping Drew McIntyre in the face. Because obviously, heel 101, you disrespect a man physically, you get an instant fight out of nowhere. So I guess that's how it works now. I don't know what kind of particular storytelling that they're trying to persist on, but thanks to have no authority figure or any logical placement at how in the hell you earn a title shot other than I'm here and I challenge you for the title, it's dumb. There has to be some sort of legitimacy with this. Thanks, the WWE title is back on a prime program and the most unprestigious world championship. Like, Jesus Christ, a Ring of Honor title at least has some names that you remember. I'd rather see that on TV than the fucking Universal title that can burn with some fake Yu-Gi-Oh cards, a dead Austrian baby, and a dying Nazi in the fire. Because that's just dumb. All of it is dumb. What else was dumb? Not only was this an okay match, it dragged on along for a natural jobber. As much as you want to be like, oh, it's just Apollo Crews. It's just a transit. He's just a struggling talent. The dude been jobbing to Sheamus for 3 months. Now he comes around because I guess that Superstar Shakeup is still in effect for some apparent reason after having a redraft back in October. And now here he is having what looked to be an over 15-minute match that was worth 3 commercial breaks against Aleister Black, a guy that beat a former Intercontinental Champion out of Bobby Lashley just under 24 hours ago. This makes no damn sense. He comes around sealing up the ankle, then he comes around sealing the other ankle, doing bicycle kicks still, not even trying to do any innovative parts of the defense except one time he did a running shooting star press involving leg strength, doing a running moonsault causing leg strength, a moonsault that nearly got a 3 count. It took Aleister Black nearly anything, a running bicycle knee off the top. Apollo Crews nearly got all the stops. And for Aleister Black, that still has a winning streak. We don't even know what the fuck to do for Aleister Black. He had been having matches with bona fide jobbers. Buddy Murphy, he comes around having a feud with Eric Rowan, making Eric Rowan lose his pushes, being a monster on Raw. I think Braun Strowman's on SmackDown. They did nothing involving his character from the last time when he was called I am smart, more smarter than I look. At the time he was feuding with Daniel fucking Bryan. And now here he is, jobbing out to Aleister Black, and then his little tarantula Muppet got crushed, killed live on TV. WWE is brought to you by PETA. It's just dumb. All of this is overall inconsistent, dumb, and it makes no sense. At least the time when Shelton Benjamin came from SmackDown to Raw, he was a younger superstar. Raw fans barely even seen him, but they know he was athletic, gifted, surprising moves, and we didn't know how he was going to be as a single star. And guess what he did his surprising debut on Raw? He upset the World Heavyweight Champion Triple H in his first night. And then I think he did it again in the tag team match. Apollo Crews has been on the main roster before the draft in 2016. He's been on both Raw and SmackDown. And he had the No Way Jose treatment since being drafted. He only had one U.S. title match that I account of, I guess, against Rusev, and then he had one feud with Sheamus back in 2016, and then he came along just having matches, and then he came around some kind of program involving Sheamus and Shorty G, where it looked like they were going to make an impromptu tag team for a while, until some other crappy feud that SmackDown would spew up would happen. And now here he is having 3 commercial breaks for a match that bona fidely did nothing, except Aleister Black continues his winning streak. He had 2 commercial breaks, and he had 2 matches against Eric Rowan. At least Buddy Murphy, they were both up-and-coming stars in the same year. What's Apollo Crews' excuse? What do he have to come in to have a 15-minute match for? Other than we're doing more than just 3 matches, as well as recaps of WrestleMania, because we technically have no excuse anymore. Aleister Black still won off a Black Mass. It was a watchable but unexpected match, especially for the viewer. Especially if you've been watching WWE for over a year or so. You know Apollo Crews has no way of having a 15-minute match at the state of how his career has been going, or the storylines he had lack of for a majority of the year. So, yeah, I'm a bit agitated off that scene. We barely had a number of backstage segments unless we had interviews involving Charlotte Flair. That was after WrestleMania. Becky Lynch. That was after WrestleMania. I still have disagreements over having developmental championship as assorted as a 3rd brand belt, and some occasion of just trying to make a developmental brand. It's like back in the day in 2008. I won the FCW World Title, and then I had Umaga beat me on it back at SummerSlam. What legitimacy you got? Really? Charlotte Flair is now a 2-time NXT champion. Why is it different that she's a 10-time women's champion and she's still not a household name? I don't get it. I don't get the absence of it. I don't get the reason why Charlotte would do this after she had a big match involving Trish Stratus back at SummerSlam. I thought they would do the exact same thing, and then somehow But I know that we're feeding into the Rhea Ripley shit for some apparent reason, just to give it a cheap knockoff feud to build up. Why in the fuck Charlotte Flair have to do this? They automatically made Rhea Ripley, the actual women's champion, feel like a challenger because she's literally part of a developmental brand. So you know immediately it's a one-sided affair for zero legitimacy to go to a belt, obviously going for up-and-coming women coming to Raw or SmackDown. Mind too that NXT's on USA and it makes no difference. You're still watching a D-level show. Ricochet and Cedric Alexander team up against Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch from NXT. Don't even know why they're here, except all 3 shows are going to be aired in the same setting for now, for the next few weeks, and that's all you need to know. Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan from NXT. I think they're also on 205 Live. Russell against Cedric Alexander and Ricochet. Somehow it looked like Ricochet shaved and wanted to finger Cedric Alexander if he didn't, get his wishes and wanted to tag with him live on Raw. So he got that wish, and they beat some weird, non-local but developing stars for some apparent reason. I don't even know how old Oney Lorcan is to call him developing or any other thing he got that he's just a catch submissionist with some striking ability, or just a mini Cesaro if you want it that way. All I know is I don't give a shit, except I know he's an alright wrestler that can do European uppercuts pretty cool. But good combos of Cedric Alexander. This was the most entertaining part of the night. Some good reactions coming from the commentators. Running shooting star press, standing moonsault, a run. I think there was a back kick to the head, and then a 630 to end it in a decent time, especially to develop. Probably there's going to be a tag team on Raw. That I guess because we don't know where the hell the Viking Raiders has been for the last several weeks after trying to stop Seth Rollins' disciples. And the OC hasn't been shown to be a tag team threat in how long, and yet they are still going to probably call themselves the moniker of the greatest tag team ever until the next Saudi event happens, and I don't know how long because of the pandemic. All I know this was a fun use of their display of they're both high flying minorities, and now Cedric Alexander's a bottom bitch. I have no reason how they developed this tag team, even though they only tagged once since that one time they had to face off against Andrade and Angel Garza the last week until Andrade suffered a rib injury. And they lost that tag team, so I don't know what developed the win or what developed the link. So I don't know why they didn't do a backstage segment. Like I think we clicked. I want to finger your ass. I'm joking. That's fucked up. That's super fucked up. God. Next up, we of course had Denzel Degenerate against Seth Rollins. It ended in a curb stomp. The guy wrestled looking like he was part of Team Angle. 3.2, 3.5. I don't know how to say it. 2.0. He came around getting his ass beat. Punch. Seth Rollins was, of course, upset about losing to Kevin Owens back at Mania. They recapped it. They recapped nearly every fucking match. I felt like it was unnecessary. Could have just done a small vignette. Welcome to WrestleMania. Show the vignettes and show the highlights about what happened in the show. That's about it. And we could have just recapped and made a full-on program, but we know we can't do that right now with time constraints and the amounts of people we can allow in the building for now, so I get it. At least it didn't do full-on match viewings or something like that. Seth Rollins did a curb stomp on a Negro. That's all you need to know. He came off pissed off. He didn't even have much to say about his loss to Kevin Owens back at Mania. Thanks, that was his first loss since Mania 31. Next up, Nia Jax versus Diana Peraza. I don't know, she's thick. Other than that, she lost to Nia Jax. It still looks the fucking same, except she looks like she's hosting a Wendy Williams show while being like, I'm proud of my body. And I would be right about that because I guess she would be on Twitter right now. And if I viewed the message, I swear to God, if anything super cringe come up, just know I'll be the first one to upload it. I swear to God. This is a really false promise. I am lazy as fuck. And I just want to make sure everything is clear here. Nia Jax been injured since April of 2019, and she returned fucking April 6th of 2020. Over a fucking year. She hasn't been competing since she suffered a double ACL injury back at Mania 35. And you're telling me now, she still looks the fucking same. She doesn't even look like she's slimmed out. She don't even look like she at least got a bit muscular, a bit leaner, or changed her gear other than she has some new kind of weird STO finisher. I forgot what the fuck her finish was. Her character's still going to be, I'm not like most girls. I'm fat. I mean, oh no, shit. Oh god, that's more fucked up. I'm trying to understand the purpose of why Nia Jax is on the main roster, other than she's different from anybody else because she's a bigger girl than anybody else. She's just a She's just a transgendered Umaga. She looks like 3 Minute Warning suffered a transition. Oh god, Jesus. Oh man. Oh, jeez. She looks like Abyss suffered too much BuzzFeed notifications. It's just gross. And Tamina tagged with her, and yes, she was supposed to be the wild card of some five-way that she got eliminated first. This is just bona fide jobber, underdeveloped territory, and this was supposed to be a threat since she came to NXT into the main roster. And since then, she's been jobbed after underwhelming babyface turn that went fucking nowhere except to make a fucking short reign with the women's title. And then she comes around losing to multiple women, punching beating up people for real, fucking up spots, injuring top female in the company at that time. She injured our Truth somehow in a spot when he was supposed to get out the Rumble via entrance. How do you injure a person not even in the ring? And she is inconsistent and obviously emotionally unstable. I obviously don't want a person like this in the ring, and she seems like a cancer to be around. And obviously, when it shows into fuck it, I watch Total Divas for certain parts of her personality. At least I want to learn more about these bitches, thanks they don't have much screen time or show any value to the actual wrestling motifs or character that they care about fucking displaying. What do I do other than women's revolution or yada yada yada? I want the women's title. That's literally their character. At least I know something about Mickie James. At least I know something about Trish Stratus, Lita, Victoria, Michelle McCool, Layla, fucking AJ Lee, and I can remember that from the back of my head. And Alicia Fox, sadly, and she somehow got schizophrenic, and now I know as she's turning sober. That's what I get for paying attention to 2010 bitches. Oh my god. And now she comes around jobbing out this chick, shouting around the ring, like, you want this? You want this? Is gonna end real quick. Continuously jobbing her, still using her big ass, and watch her tear her ankle, and she knows it's not because she fucked up a spot, it's because she ate a donut before she entered the ring. And then we had Korea, and then she won. There was a sloppy squash match. Another squash match that technically wasn't a squash match was Humberto Carrillo returning to Raw since several weeks. And this guy came off like 3 months feuding with Andrade for the United States Championship. Now he's injured. Nothing to do with. They sent him home. Because obviously he had nothing to do because he couldn't spend a lick of English. He can barely sell, and all he does is just a Hurricane Rana and a moonsault. He had a couple strikes where he was getting beaten up by this guy named Brandon Vicks. Brandon fucking he lost via moonsault while Humberto was 75% of the match getting beaten up. Strike, he got clothesline until he comes back with sometimes some move. He'll get with punching distance, and then somehow we'll get the Hurricane Rana. Top rope Hurricane Rana. Then he came around doing a missile drop kick, moonsault to end the squash match, or what you want to call it, that's just a normal match. Some apparent reason, no rhyme or reason, and now we have May 10th until Money in the Bank. In May. What the fuck you're gonna do for the rest of the summer? At least it's okay to see Humberto again. We haven't seen him since, I think, Elimination Chamber. But it was just a sloppy squash match that had no logical reason. Next up, we had a recap involving the WWE Championship match. Because it was like, oh, what's going to happen? Somebody, surprise opponent was going to come to challenge him at the next pay-per-view. Big Show not even said that I didn't want to challenge you tomorrow night on Raw. I didn't want to challenge you on Money in the Bank. I just want to challenge you now. Right fucking now. You don't know shit. I want to challenge you. I want to challenge you right here. We got a ref. We got a ring. Ring ding ding ding, bitch. Let's start. That not only made me laugh, that made me lose my IQ. What the fuck was Big Show there for? He hasn't showed up for several months. What's with the weird heel turn for a title opportunity that had no rhyme or reason? He has no quarrel with Drew McIntyre or earned any other opportunity or become that much of a face like Brock Lesnar or John Cena to earn a championship opportunity out of nowhere dragging a ref. Where the fuck did another ref come? Where was Vince in the plan for this? where Big Show was just chopping the shit out of Drew McIntyre, stopping him in something, and then off some rope maneuvers, just shouting that you're the champ. There was obviously going to be a comeback because obviously you don't want Drew McIntyre to lose to a guy that's literally been in purgatory in pro wrestling for the last 2 decades. And then he comes around just getting Claymore kicked in the face. And they'd be like, this is going to be the era of Drew McIntyre before they probably going to turn him awkwardly heel in the second half of the year. So, that's my review of Monday Night Raw. All I can say is it was mediocre as shit, but it was better than the last 2 or 3 weeks of Monday Night Raw. Do I think it could have been better? Yes. Do I think it was nice to see some wrestlers come back? Somewhat Nia Jax, because the women's division has been quite stale, because 2 of the top females on the roster face off against developmental talent or NXT superstars, and the tag division been quite bare bones. All there is the OC, Andrade, and well, technically Austin Theory now. And Garza, we haven't seen the Viking Raiders probably go into Raw. To SmackDown because obviously nobody wants to see the New Day and the Usos fight again. And practically somehow Drew McIntyre couldn't even make a surprise visit. We had all these dumb interviews, multiple squash matches that made no zero sense other than the lack of roster to show up. It was just basins into just we have to use what we got, and it is. But that doesn't mean I'm going to not give my official opinion. And Raw gets a 5 out of 10. It had more than 5 matches. I guess it told it's at least you're trying to continue up to now. I don't know if they're gonna have qualifying matches for next week come Money in the Bank because they are having the the pandemic is clearing up in some case entirely. We are getting higher temperatures. I heard that does lessens most of the spread. Hopefully, everybody's still doing well on that. The show was just quite mediocre. I give it a 5. I'd make it worse if they tried shitter, but they give quite decent recaps. Commentary was alright, listenable. I thought the Street Profits and Belair segment was crap, but it was nice to see Belair at least on Raw. The squash matches were unnecessary as hell, other than just to display that these people are already established wrestlers. Nia Jax's been on the main roster for like 3 years, and Berto been in here for years, for like a couple months now. Apollo Crews had an unnecessarily long match with a guy that's already been shown to face to be better, to have a shorter match than a guy in a higher level and bigger and blacker than Apollo fucking Crews. That's a baby Bobby Lashley. And at least the Cedric Alexander and Ricochet match was quick but short, and it showed up their skills. It was entertaining. So I'll give it a plus on presentation wise and how show and how fluently it went. But it was a mediocre show. It was a mediocre show. That's all I'm gonna give for tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. This will be coming out shortly. This DST show coming out. Uh, Ignore that trash. I'll get a better view soon.